You run into days like this. The problem is, without winning it in 3 games now for Real Madrid in La Liga, that becomes an issue. It starts getting in your heads. The good news is you have a team that can score goals and normally will score goals. And defensively, they look sound. I agree with you. I think Ramos just let a player drift off his shoulder.
But the bad news is that you're in La Liga. Barcelona have started with a 100% record. They're already 7 points clear.
It's not over.
I didn't say it was over, did I? I didn't say it.
I know you didn't say it, but I'm preempting what I know is coming. And look, this will not continue for Real Madrid. I'm almost sure of that. But it is a test of Zidane, who has come through everything so far with flying colours in the last couple of years. But this is a test. And maybe Barcelona are going to have that little wobble. We'll see. Because, you know, let's be honest, a certain individual has carried them particularly well. That being said, Betis had other chances in this game, by the way. I know they didn't have as many as Real Madrid. Of course, they had the bulk of the chances. The keeper was fantastic. But Real Betis had 2 or 3 very good chances, particularly early on, to have taken the lead. So there wasn't like one chance, one goal. There was a little bit more to it than that.
The question over Zidane is really whether, does he really believe in himself? Because everything has gone so smoothly. It's not until things get tough you actually find out who you are. Because he's doing nothing wrong for me tactics-wise, or the teams he's picking. The players on the field haven't taken the chances. There's nothing he can do about that. But will he panic and start questioning himself? That's the
Who's copping the blame for this?
The one thing
Bale? Am I going to be reading? Are we going to? Well, you'll be reading. You read a bit of Spanish, only a little bit. Will Gareth Bale tomorrow be in the headlines?
No,
it's all Bale's fault.
I think Cristiano Ronaldo. If you look at the chances that he had in this game, he had a number of clear-cut chances that, obviously, in the past he would have scored without any problem.
So the Madrid papers will go for Ronaldo tomorrow. You think?
I think what we also didn't see is we didn't see a lot of play through the middle, especially near the end of the game. All the balls were coming from crosses. There wasn't that interplay that you normally see when a Benzema or a real center forward with a 3 up high you have. So I think you're going to see the 4-4-2 or something like it go, and you'll see a third forward back up there with them.
Gab, what's going wrong, do you think? We welcome Gab Marcotti to the show. You look at it, remember Gerard Piqué, after that hiding that Barcelona received in the Spanish Super Cup, says the first time in years that you feel that Barca are inferior to Madrid, yet they've been completely contrasting starts to the season.
Look, and some people get angry when I say this, but I care about performance more than results at this point, because over time performance brings you results, and there's something called variance here. Fact of the matter is, Quique Setién, the Betis manager, last season, when he was at Las Palmas, Real Madrid dropped 4 points against him. There was no Benzema, who in games like this can certainly help and be a difference. But ultimately, Real Madrid created a bazillion chances and they failed to convert. And sometimes that happens. You worry, I think, when you're not converting, when you're not creating chances, and when you're conceding at the back. They ran into a goalkeeper who stood in his head on the night, and Antonio Adán, of course, maybe has an old grudge against Real Madrid as well, going back to the Mourinho era. And they conceded a goal on an individual error late on. I think it's as simple as that. And it would be dangerous for Zidane to read too much into this. You know, he's been involved in more than 1,000 matches in his career as a player and as a manager. I'm pretty sure he's seen this before.
Here is the draw then for the 4th round in all its glory. Spurs, West Ham, Bristol City, Crystal Palace. Swansea plays to Manchester United, Arsenal, Norwich, Chelsea, Everton, City, Wolverhampton, Leicester, Leeds United, Bournemouth, Middlesbrough. What jumps off the page at you, Stevie?
Nothing. Not a sausage.
Chelsea, Everton.
Well, because but even Chelsea, Everton, it's probably going to be 2 reserve teams. It's hard to get into this tournament, considering the teams that the so-called bigger boys are putting out.
I think the London Derby is going to have some interest.
Spurs, West Ham, you fancy it?
I think so. Yeah, West Ham needs to get on a run here. Tottenham not faring too well at home. Should be interesting.
Bernie?
Chelsea, Everton. At the moment.
Thank you very much. 2 teams remain perfect in Italy then after today's matches. We'll talk about Napoli's incredible victory away against Lazio in a moment. But Gab, Let's start, shall we, with the defending champions. Juventus getting it done against Fiorentina just.
Yeah, just, and it was a nervy affair. I mean, Fiorentina went down to 10 men, Juventus scoring in the second half. Allegri mixed it up. We saw that 4-2-3-1 that I think may be the long-term solution for them. Obviously, a bunch of guys still out, most notably Khedira in midfield. He tried Sturaro at right back. But, you know, Mandzukic scored. They didn't quite click, I think, and it got really nervy at the end. Allegri himself not happy at all after the game, saying that, you know, we are a work in progress, but that doesn't mean that we can take those risks late in the game.
Meanwhile, Napoli 1-0 down against Lazio. Then they turn it on. Incredible goal from Dries Mertens amongst the four. This was a very good showing from the visitors.
An exceptional showing. They really came to life in the second half. I mean, the first half, you know, Lazio took the lead. Lazio, to be fair to them, were really hurt by the fact that they lost two of their back three, Bastos and Stefan de Vrij.
Gab, how can a team that put in a showing like this lose in the Champions League last week?
It's a mystery. I mean, it's really, and as we said, it's probably their only really bad performance thus far. I think it was a combination of things. Certainly, Sarri decided to rotate his team in that game, which made very little sense to a lot of people. You know, you're going away from home. Okay, it's Shakhtar Donetsk, but still, it's not a comfortable place to play. And that was the game where he decided to take off his top scorer and a quick, nippy guy who could have done something in tight spaces like Mertens and play Arkadiusz Milik and pay the price for it. But other than that, they've been exceptional.
Dortmund remain top of the table. Bayern Munich now up to second after their victory yesterday. It's got to be nice, isn't it, to have all this hype surrounding a youngster and he continues to deliver?
You could just see the belief in him. Of course, it's nice. I think it's better than nice. I think he's really found a home, and he's found a group of players that trust him. He has a coach that trusts him. You saw that Yarmolenko comes off instead of Pulisic, and is keeping him fresh at the same time. This is a player that can change games himself. You saw his ability with the ball at his feet. And as he gets older and as he gets more coy and understanding what's around him, I just think he's going to continue to improve.
Oh yeah, and it might just be a title race. Or just on another story here, Dortmund won in the top of the league. And there might be a title race this year to the end. We know Ancelotti isn't everybody's cup of tea at Bayern. Still a good team, but lots of question marks about him. And can Dortmund, which I think is a bigger story, can Dortmund take it all the way and stop Bayern's dominance in Germany? I'm not quite sure they're strong enough, but we'll see.
It certainly is more competitive, certainly, than we thought it would be at the start of the season. Everyone thought Bayern would win it, Stevie.
Yeah,
give it time.
But we said before the season started that Bayern were going to go through a little bit of a transitional period. Unfortunately for Bayern, whilst they're doing that, Dortmund look as though they've actually taken a step forward from last season, including the emergence of Pulisic.
Stevie Nicol is joining me because we are about to tackle some Premier League fixtures in Premier League Predictors. Stevie, West Ham hosting Spurs. Can Spurs bounce back after some more? They'll be happy they're away.
Exactly. Getting away from Wembley will be a real lift for them, to be honest. And West Ham, I mean, you just wonder where the next goal's coming from. I just don't see anything other than a Tottenham win.
All right, so you're going to go with Spurs, and
Yep.
so am I. West Ham know a thing or two about some new stadium woes, but I think Spurs will be happy they're away from home and get this one. Burnley, Huddersfield.
It's got draw written all over it. Burnley last season at home were just incredible.
Yes.
Hasn't started that way this year. Huddersfield, not too adventurous, don't give much away. This has got a draw written all over it.
I'm going to disagree with you and just go with Burnley at home, just because I have to. Just because I have to. Everton, what a time to be a toughie against Bournemouth.
I am going to go with Everton because they have to win. Bournemouth, away from home, have been diabolical. Everton haven't been particularly great since the start of the season either. The pressure is really on them. They need a result. I think they'll just squeak it. I think they'll get a win. I'm going to go for Everton.
They have to win. That doesn't really mean that they will win. So I'm going to go with a draw for this one, Stevie. Manchester City Crystal Palace. Oh, this could be Crystal Palace's worst nightmare.
Is this the easiest one to pick or what?
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Boom.
Just put it there. I can't come up with any sort of excuse that Palace will win or even get anything out of this game. This to me is an absolute banker.
Could be another goal fest indeed. Southampton, Manchester United.
I'm going to go with Manchester United. Southampton, they just haven't been doing much this year. You know, they're not particularly great going forward. They're okay defensively. I just think Manchester United will be far too strong for them, and I can't see anything other than Manchester United taking this one.
I think Man United definitely will want to keep pace with Manchester City right there at the top of the table, so I would be remiss to not go with a Manchester United win. Watford now up against Swansea. Boy, do Watford need to bounce back. Stevie, can they do it away?
No, I don't think they can. Swansea will be buoyed by that draw last week away at Spurs. Watford absolutely annihilated by City. Got real problems at centre-back position. I just don't see anything other than Swansea getting 3 points.
I mean, in Watford's defence, there's only so much you can do against City, and I don't think they'll be able to do it even against Swansea at home. Leicester City, Liverpool, Stevie, the rematch again that's ousted your former team from the League Cup.
Well, I'm assuming it'll be the two first teams this time.
Yes.
As opposed to the reserves. I can't see a winner in this, I'll be honest. I can see both sides scoring. To me, it's got a draw written all over it. Liverpool, no question, will score goals. But they give too many away.
Some goals as well.
Leicester will sit tight and break, and that's just what Liverpool don't like. So I'm going to go for a draw.
Do you know what? I'm going to agree with you on this one and go for a draw as well. It's hard to choose one in these two. Stoke City, Chelsea.
Interesting to see how Chelsea bounce back from last weekend. Stoke, on the other hand, they're under a little bit of pressure. Mark Hughes' name's been bandied about maybe the next one to go. That means Stoke are going to have to attack. I think that'll suit Chelsea. I'm going to go with Chelsea for that very reason. They'll sit tight and they'll break on Stoke, and I think they'll win the game.
And I agree with you. Brighton, Newcastle.
I'm going to go for a draw just because both of these sides, they don't offer too much going forward. Certainly Newcastle away from home don't, and Brighton, well, they can't. They just don't have
They don't have it.
They don't have the capability. So for me, this is a draw.
Do you know what? I'm going to go with a Newcastle win on the road, Stevie. We'll see. A bit adventurous. Arsenal up against West Brom. More positive things from Arsenal after last weekend's performance. Will it continue?
Yes, it will. For me, this is the type of game that Arsenal always seem to win.
Yeah.
A bit of a nothing game. Not too many people interested in it unless you're an Arsenal or a West Brom fan. Arsenal's going to win it because you know they will.
Simple enough.
Aye.
And I'm going to agree with you there, Stevie. All right. Thanks so much, Stevie Nicol. As always, track everything Premier League here at ESPNFC.com. Stevie Nicol and I are going to have so much fun discussing this one. Jose Mourinho says that he wants to give Marouane Fellaini, don't laugh, a new contract before the end of the year at Manchester United. Stevie.
Why would I laugh?
Because we know the stigma that goes with Marouane Fellaini. I believe, and even speaking with Craig Burley this week, he thinks that isn't funny anymore. He thinks that Marouane Fellaini does indeed have a vital role at Manchester United.
Absolutely, and I tend to agree with that. You know, if you're looking for an aesthetic, stylish football player, then you're not looking at Marouane Fellaini.
Oh, no.
If you're looking at a guy that actually makes a difference when he's on the field, then you are looking at Marouane Fellaini. Listen, there's been so much talk about how he doesn't look like a football player that everybody just thinks that automatically now. But don't kid yourself. This guy plays in a Belgian side that is chock full of talent.
Yes.
And he can play in that system with them. So don't tell me he's not a good football player. Now, is he world class? No, he's not. But he makes a difference. And when Marouane Fellaini comes on the field, you can pretty much guarantee that the team's going to change the way they play. They're going to get the ball forward early, and that involves him. And most of the time, it makes a difference.
So Liverpool are out of the League Cup. Stevie Nicol is here with me, and he's laughing because maybe it wasn't at the top of Jurgen Klopp's priorities. But what that match against Leicester did show, once again, were those defensive issues that we have been talking about for some time now. Stevie, Klopp even said that we concede like this makes me sick. So 2 years now. Why haven't you addressed it? It's not rocket science.
He says that. If only there was somebody there that could make a difference to that.
If only somebody could bring in some signings.
Yeah.
So why not, Stevie? Why?
Well, I think there are two things. One is that Jurgen Klopp's forte clearly is not about organising his defence. The second question I have is the scouting department. Now, Jurgen Klopp has a lot to do with the players that he has. He has to spend the majority of his time with them. So he must have a scouting department that goes out looking for players. And if you're telling me they can't find somebody better than a Lovren or a Clavin, then there's a problem with the scouting department. Because 2 years that Klopp's been there, the only decent signing as far as a centre-back's concerned has been Matip, who's just solid. Mm-hmm. He's not outstanding. He doesn't make too many mistakes. He's reliable. Which
you need someone with more of a presence.
Absolutely.
But they targeted Virgin Van Dijk.
By the way, at this minute in time, we could just do with another Matip who doesn't make mistakes and who's just solid. So, number one, Klopp has problems coaching defensively, but I think the biggest issue has to be the scouting department. You can't tell me they can't find a centre-back better than what they have.
But we know that, of course, Liverpool needs someone with more of a presence, as we said, or a leadership role in defence. They, of course, had their eyes on Van Dijk. We know how that went. So is it just because they're not getting their top player? Surely you have plan Bs and plan Cs, right? So why not just get one?
That would be the rational, common sense thing to think.
It's better than nothing.
Clearly, Liverpool at this present time aren't thinking rationally and don't have an awful lot of common sense. Because if they think they can muddle through till maybe the January window when they think they can get Van Dijk, then they're kidding themselves. Because, quite frankly, right now, it looks to me as though by the January window, we'll certainly have no chance of winning the Premier League, and we'll probably be in and around that fourth spot, and that's probably all they're going to have to fight for this year.
Ooh, that is definitely not what Liverpool fans want to hear. But, as we said, Klopp's lack of signings in the defence department will have some serious consequences, and that possibly is one of them. Good news for Karim Benzema, and what seems like confusing news for everybody else. It seems that he will be extended, or his contract is extended at Real Madrid until 2021, so that's past his 33rd birthday. There's a little matter of a release clause of €1 billion. I
don't think we need to bother about that.
Well, no, we'll get into that later, Stevie. But a lot of people just on social media and seeing their reaction are going, eh? Why?
Well, I guess when you think of a centre forward, you think of the talisman as far as goal scoring is concerned. But clearly Benzema isn't that. You can see stats, it tells you he's not that. But Zidane clearly thinks that he's the guy up front that holds everything together. He's the glue that keeps it all going smoothly. And I think that's why they've rewarded him with a new contract.
Because, I mean, Real Madrid don't really have a lack of talent, so to speak, in terms of their conveyor belt coming through. But everyone's looking, he's going to be 30 years old this year. So apart from the glue, what else can he really offer to get this increase in his fee?
Well, I think the fact that
Is glue really worth that much, Stevie?
Well, yes. You know,
how so?
Well,
if your feet start to go after 30, are you really worth that much?
Benzema's positives are certainly not about pace, right?
No, they aren't.
His positives are not about scoring 20 and 30 goals a season in La Liga. So it has to be the glue that keeps that smooth machine going.
But is it worth all this money, though, and
Absolutely.
this kind of a lucrative deal?
Well, look at the job he's done over the last, what, 3 seasons? You know, 2 Champions Leagues in 3 years, and he's been a major part of that. And why? Because he's the guy up front who keeps it all together, keeps it ticking over.
Well, one of the words that I saw floating around with Benzema was overrated. Do you think he is?
As a goal scorer, he's overrated. As a footballer, no. I think he's a smart footballer. He picks up good positions. He understands what's going on around him. And that's why I say he's the glue that keeps everything moving.
And that has a very big role at any big team, right, Stevie?
Absolutely.
So, there it is.